there he was, and he was nothing. He was just no power. He was zero. I was flabbergasted. And from then we just sailed through. I had been prepared for the worst force, on the earth today, the most powerful, the most effective, the most money, the richest, the most, and there he is, he's nothing.
Why?
It's just the people around him who give him the power. It's the emperor without clothes.
If you haven't been following this story, Carroll alleged in a book excerpt published in New York Magazine that Trump pushed her against a wall, pulled down her tights, and sexually assaulted her in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room in the mid-1990s. Trump denied the allegations, calling them totally false and saying he had never met Carroll despite a photograph showing them together at an event. Carroll filed a defamation suit accusing Trump of harming her reputation by calling her a liar and suggesting that she had fabricated the allegations for political purposes. Now, Trump's lawyers attempted to have the case dismissed, arguing that Trump made those comments in his official capacity as president, as one does, and thus he was protected from lawsuits. But a federal appeals court ruled that Trump could be sued for defamation in his personal capacity, and that's what allowed the case to proceed. The jury said Carroll had not proved by a preponderance of the evidence that Trump had actually raped her, but she had proved by clear and convincing evidence that Mr. Trump knew his statement was false when he said it, when he called her accusation a hoax, and that meets a legal standard known as actual malice. You may recall that this is the case in which Trump was compelled to give a deposition in which he confused a picture of E. Jean Carroll with his own former wife, Marla Maples.
It's Marla.
You're saying Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla, yeah. That's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
Carroll.
Oh, is that,
The person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Trump continues to insist he didn't rape Carroll because of the way she looks, even after he confused her for his ex-wife.
This after saying that E.G. Carroll was not his type, meaning she is not on the laminated "Women I Plan to Assault Someday" card Trump carries around in his pants pocket, which he can't reach.
Is this going to be another one of those things where he does it for 3 days and then reverts back to form? Or is there a legal, when you're looking at this as a lawyer or as somebody who's been involved in this case, you say, there's a very real reason why that individual will not be talking about this ever again?
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly being told not to talk about it, and he's concerned that if he keeps talking about it, he's going to have to pay even more money than he's already been ordered to pay.
Valid concern.
Right, but as the judge noted in the middle of the trial, at times he can't control himself. I mean, the judge said that to him, sir, you appear to be unable to control yourself. And if that part of him takes over, then he could say something again,
And you're willing to bring another defamation case?
Absolutely, everything's on the table.
So what have we learned here? First of all, it's important to remember that this is a civil case and not criminal, meaning that Trump has not been convicted of any crime and has not been sentenced to prison. Secondly, we are one day closer to Trump being convicted of a crime and being sentenced to prison. And finally, to give you an indication of where we stand as a nation, the jurors in this case now have to worry for their lives. With or without what the judge said to them just before he dismissed them, I don't think that it's hard to imagine that if any of these 12 people identify themselves publicly, they'll immediately become the crosshairs cover model for every window-licking chaw bacon in America who spends half their day polishing the AR-15 that they own and the other half of the day shooting Sprite bottles with it. In light of this, Judge Lewis Kaplan felt obligated to tell jurors the following. My advice to you is not to identify yourselves, not now and not for a long time. If you're one who elects to speak to others and to identify yourselves to others, I direct you not to identify anyone else who sat on the jury. Each of you owes that to the other, whatever you decided for yourself. For more updates on Trump's plotting trek from White House to Big House and all things politics and culture, be sure to subscribe to YouCantBeatBlue and join us at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.